What's up, guys? I'm gonna go over a nice TvT mirror matchup, and the primary composition that both of us were using was bio and tanks, which is a very common build for Terran, just in general. So I'm skipping through the first few minutes, nothing really interesting happens. So I'm going to scout him out, see that he's got a second base, and I always expect Reaper, Harass, and Terran, so just to be safe I always rally my Marines in the main base. Oops. So we're both going to do some quick expanding. He's going to send a Reaper. This is interesting. He doesn't try to use the high ground to just jump up undetected. He goes right through the main gate, not expecting any opposition. And he's not even going to expect my Marines there. Just pick him off. So we're both playing pretty similarly. Teching. I already got up my starport, and he's doing the same. So this stuff's pretty general. We're just gonna skip through it. We're kind of amassing our armies at this point, and I'm gonna go for the Liberator Harass opener. And there we are. So I'm actually gonna send my Liberator at the same time he sends his army, and he thinks that 2 tanks and a little ball and a Viking's gonna do it. It looks like enough for right now. I'm expecting a Liberator Harass because I saw his early Stargate. I have my troops pulled off to the side. So he's going to delay, wait for some reinforcements. A medevac. And I messed up at this point. I completely forgot stim. I completely forgot combat shield. So my units are definitely vulnerable. My Liberator Harass is doing really well. He didn't even notice that a bunch of his SCVs were getting taken out. I'm just going to use this to scout and see if I can pick off some SCVs at his natural. But he does attack me over here, and I F2 my units over there, try to push it off. It's a pretty bad habit I have. I've been trying to fix it and been doing alright so far. It's just like ingrained in my brain to always press F2 when I'm getting attacked or I don't feel like I'm in control of the game. So he's going to go back to his base. I'm going to rally thinking I have a strong counterattack when really I don't, especially since all those tanks are there. I'm going to pick off one of his medevacs, scan him. At this point I have way more resources than him. I'm not spending them enough. Should build more infrastructure. Third base going up. And he's going to scout me out with the medevac. It's interesting, we're both pretty flustered in the beginning of this game by the attacks, so nobody actually bothered to get upgrades so far. I don't even think he has an engineering bay at all. Interesting. Oh, no, he does. So I got a drop loaded up. And I'm going right into the main. Just try to pick off some more SCVs. And he's going to pull back, bring his troops over. I'm a little slow in the reaction. That was a little missed micro right there. A few of them gets picked off. But I got a bunch of EVs, so it's okay. So I'm going to miss micro there. I do successfully take out 2 of the siege tanks with some micro. I'm not able to take that last one out, and those guys are lost as a result of poor micro once again. However, I do have a good position right now, and he takes a sneaky third. I did not notice that he took that. I didn't even really pay mind to that expansion. Meanwhile, in the main base, I have increased production going up, 2 more barracks, a factory, upgrades are starting, and it's looking good so far. I'm going to do another Liberator harass. So he's going to scan right outside of where that Liberator is. And I'm going to pick off a few more SCVs before he notices. He's just going to pull off a Viking to go deal with that. And I'm going to pick up a 4th base. Oh, that's what F2 command does. Just get a siege tank just sieged in the middle of nowhere, doing nothing for my army. And I'm not going to notice it. It's really good to get in the habit of just making Control Group 1 your main army. And then 2 and 3 could be used for contingency forces, say like Ghosts, or maybe your Liberators, maybe your Vikings, depending on your unit comp. In this, I would make my main army 1, obviously, and then make my Air Force, like the Liberators and Vikings, 2, so I could just pull them off and maybe harass some medevacs. He's going to make a move right here. This is very ballsy, but somehow it works. I'm very surprised. We had about equal forces, but I just didn't siege my tanks in time. They're not in a good position. That was like really good on his part to sense that he could take that successfully. So I'm going to fall back to my choke, and he thinks he had a major battle there, so he's going to try to counterattack, especially with a 3rd base worth of income. And at this point of the game, we have pretty similar unit compositions. It's bio and tanks, and really he's got Vikings and I have Liberators, and that's really the only difference there. I'm actually going to start making some Vikings too, because I'm seeing that he has his Air Force. He's going to scout me out. And I say, might as well go on the offensive while I'm kind of stuck here. Load up 2 medevacs and make a defensive position at my choke. Now this is going to get scouted. He's really smart. He puts a Viking to the south and sees what I'm about to do. And I have these 2 Vikings for some reason going over there. I never reset the control group. And my F2 keeps sending these back and forth. He's just going to stick around, keep producing units. And now he's going to go for my expansion. He does a smart move. Actually, he's going to go right into my main, right for the infrastructure. Fortunately, he did not bring enough tanks. It didn't even make it out because of the spacing, and I just picked that off. So that was, I guess, lucky for me. A little miss micro there with the move command, and I'm going to be able to pick off maybe another. No. Oh, actually, no. I took off 2. Those Vikings came in perfectly, and he scouts my 4th on his way out, but he has like really barely anything to defend himself. I have a counterattack coming. I sense that I'm stronger, so gonna send it over. Don't forget I have my medevac still loaded, and I'm still gonna go for that that drop just to kind of fluster his main army. For some reason, he starts making cyclones. It's pretty smart. He kept a siege tank right there just in case I did a drop. I was able to micro around that, take it out. Pretty equal exchange right there, but I'm going to show up right at his main. And you know, those cyclones aren't bad for taking out the medevacs. I could see what he was doing there. So I have a nice defensive position right here with the tanks. I'm just going to kind of play with these guys, and there's the GG. And that's how you beat a Terran using a mirror comp of bio and tanks.